And so we're going to go straight to the news. Jason McClellan, tell us what's going on.
Greetings, Alejandro, and
Hola.
hello, everyone. This is your Open Minds UFO News Brief for Monday, October 3rd, 2011. Alejandro, I feel like David Letterman. We have a top 10. Isn't that cool?
Oh, great.
I don't think we've ever had a top 10.
No, this is our first top 10.
Yeah, we might have had a top 10, but here is a top 10. Life Science published an infographic last week on their website showing the top 10 states for UFO sightings. The National UFO Reporting Center's data was used to create the infographic, and the data represents sightings from 1994 to 2011. Guess what the number one is, Alejandro?
Illinois.
It's
California.
It is California. Number two, you want to try?
Texas.
That's number three. You're close. The top three are California, Washington, and Texas. And our wonderful state of Arizona is lucky number 7.
Yeah, nice. Well, these are based off of New Fork, too, and they don't receive these days as many as MUFON does.
That is correct. This is National UFO Reporting Center's data, which was an interesting choice for Life Science to use, but I think they it was more of an uninformed decision to use that data, I think. But
well, and, they just go to the web and they find who's getting UFO reports. There's been lots of stories, especially on the East Coast, about Peter Davenport. And so I think they find him and get a hold of him, and he always answers the phone. So they get their data, they send us some data, and bada boom, bada bing.
Nicely put.
Mm-hmm. That's how it works. Been in the business for a while.
Yeah. So the top 10, I was kind of shocked, and then when I read where they got the data from, I could understand a little more. But yeah, MUFON does focus more on actually tracking that data and mapping it out, and you did a great job of that while you were there, and
while I was here, when I came here, I finally had time to put the data together. So
yes. And aren't you still working on that?
I need to do that again, and I'll do that again soon. But to see what I had put together, you can go to our website, openminds.tv, and just look for hot spots, and you'll be able to see, based off of years, all the years that MUFON's been collecting its data, what the hot spots were. And I found similar stuff: California, Arizona, Colorado, actually, which they didn't have. But
that's what surprised me the most, the omittance of Colorado.
It seems to be mostly based around population, but one thing I did is found out what the percentages were per people.
Right.
So you can see where are there more sightings than per person than other places, and that was interesting. Arizona and Colorado were two of the tops on that.
And interestingly, you've lived in both places.
Dun, dun, dun.
I think there's a conspiracy around that.
Could be.
Well, in other news, Alejandro, and I haven't heard anybody talk about this really, but the International UFO Museum and Research Center in Roswell, New Mexico, recently debuted a redesigned website. The new website makes it easier for visitors to read about the history of the museum and the history of the Roswell UFO incident that occurred in 1947. The website also contains information about plans for the construction of the brand new multi-million-dollar facility that will house the museum. The website explains the new larger museum will offer new displays, a futuristic building, plus lots of motorhome and tour bus parking. The museum is a major part of the city of Roswell's UFO festival that takes place every year, and the new website also contains information about that. You can check out the newly improved website at www.roswellufomuseum.com.
And I can say this now because I was being nice and I didn't say it before. They used to have one of the worst sites in the whole UFO online webscape. It was so terrible. It was all over the place. But this website is now one of the best out there. It is so nice. I was surprised. It was just gorgeous. It looks like a lot of thought and money and time is put into it. It's an incredible website they have now. You
are certainly right about their old website. It was a difficult site to go to.
Yeah.
And I was really shocked when you mentioned to me that they redid their website. It kind of was a surprise going there and seeing this.
Yeah, it was a pleasant surprise.
Site.
And I went there just, I can't remember why, but it was just, it was not that I knew that they changed the website. I just went there doing some research or something, and I discovered this great website. I was shocked, and it's really cool. So everybody has to go check it out.
Good job, Roswell UFO Museum.
Way to go, Roswell.
A little bit of Hollywood news here. Kiefer Sutherland believes that extraterrestrial life exists in the universe, and that's exciting to me because Kiefer's one of my favorite actors.
Really?
I was a big 24 fan.
I was a big. My favorite with him is probably Lost Boys.
I thought you were going to say Young Guns.
No, I was thinking of Young Guns for some reason the other day, but Young Guns was kind of cheesy for me. Lost Boys I loved.
Well, according to Bang Showbiz, Sutherland believes it would be, quote, very arrogant to believe this is the only planet that could sustain some kind of life. He further stated, quote, when I look up at the sky on a clear night and see the wash of stars and planets and everything that is outside our universe, I have to believe there is life everywhere. And I know a lot of people are going to kind of poo-poo this statement and say it's just being blown up from nothing. This is the kind of nothing response that we hear from a lot of people, that, oh, there has to be something out there, and people criticize that response. But I like that response, especially when it comes from somebody in the spotlight, because even a statement like that is kind of a big deal for them. I mean, we have the ridicule factor that everybody faces, but celebrities seem to suffer even more so. And when a celebrity comes out and, will face that ridicule and say, hey, I'm confident there's something out there, it's more of a big deal than I think many people will give it credit.
Yeah, maybe so. I mean, I really, when they're asked that question, usually this is their answer.
Right.
Especially lately. There's got to be something out there. But it's better than, making fun of people or something.
Right. It's better than just laughing right away at that, because these people who act in even loosely related movies, talking about extraterrestrials or UFOs or anything space related, this question frequently gets asked to these actors in press conferences.
And what was the movie again?
I forget what this movie is.
Oh, okay.
I don't even remember if the interview was related to it. It's something that the articles that mention this referenced, because it's about an asteroid coming to Earth and big doomsday type thing. But the question gets asked to these people who act in these movies more and more lately, and we're seeing this response a lot, or related responses a lot. These people saying, I absolutely think that there's something out there. And while that isn't a very committal answer, it's not anything that we might want to hear, like, oh yeah, I've seen aliens, I've seen UFOs, whatever. At least it's a statement that's not laughing, and it shows that they do think about the subject, and they're not trying to make light of it.
Yep.
Excellent, Kiefer. Alejandro, this is something that you wrote about recently, and I think we touched on it last week, but the White House launched a new section on their website called We the People that allows people to post petitions about matters they want the White House to address. If a petition obtains a certain number of signatures within a given period of time, the White House says that they will review the issue and make an official response. Well, political activist Stephen Bassett of the Paradigm Research Group posted a petition on September 22nd, which asked the president to, quote, formally acknowledge an extraterrestrial presence engaging the human race. And 5 days later, the petition reached the 5,000 signature mark. And I think as of today, it was close to 7,000 signatures.
Yeah, yep. Yeah, I checked it out. It's interesting. I think that the wording, personally, I think it's going a little far. Acknowledge extraterrestrial presence. I asked, of course, Steve Bassett if he thought the president knew about an extraterrestrial presence. Steve Bassett said if he doesn't, he can easily find out. But as I wrote in my story, Bill Clinton seemed to really try to find out and didn't get anywhere. And what's interesting is that people think, well, he's just covering up. Bill Clinton might have known more than he implies. But he says, I tried to find out, and I'm embarrassed about it, like even in this video that we have. But he goes on to say that I wouldn't be the first president who has been lied to or secrets have been kept from career bureaucrats, so there could be some dark secrets out there. Why would he even add that? If he was in the know and he wanted to cover that up, why not just say, oh, I'm sorry, I was being goofy and I looked into it and I didn't find anything.
Right.
And just stop there. But instead he always, and he's done this before, alludes to possibly that maybe people do know and they just didn't tell me. And
I was surprised to see that, well, I guess I wasn't that surprised, but I wasn't expecting to see other extraterrestrial related petitions on the White House website as well.
But there's a few more.
Yes. But this one certainly had the most signatures.
Yeah.
So that's kind of exciting.
It was the first one up too.
Yep. And again, I doubt they'll address this, if at all. And when they do, I'm sure it'll be a joke. But
Well, yeah, they do have to make some response. And Lee Spiegel is writing a story on the Huffington Post.
Correct.
Where he talked to the White House. So they may, we'll have to see what they say. That's going to get posted any minute now. So I'm real excited to see that. So we'll have to see what this White House rep told him. I'm guessing they're just going to say something like the Air Force looked into it. They didn't find anything.
Right.
Thank you. Bye.
Or they'll pull a Symington and joke about it.
Yeah, maybe.
Like with the Phoenix Lights.
It's very possible.
Well, Alejandro, I would love to talk news all night, but I've got to cut it short because we have an extended interview tonight, very exciting interview with Michael Horn. So I will leave it at that. Remember to check out these stories and more at openminds.tv, your source for UFO-related news. I'm Jason McClellan, your Open Minds news correspondent, and you've been briefed. And if you are listening on Blog Talk or on a podcast, I do strongly recommend, as Alejandro suggested, to either watch on the Ustream tonight or check out the archive on YouTube tomorrow or any time after the show to watch so you can see the visuals that accompany this interview, because I think the visuals are important, especially for this show. So you can check out our YouTube channel at youtube.com/openmindstv. Back to you, Alejandro.